Hello everyone, it's so great to see you all. And I know it's a little bit of a wet day today, but that did not stop us from having loads of fun this morning at our harvest time extravaganza at church. So if you came along to that, that was fantastic. We had great fun. We had a harvest hunt when we went around looking for different things. We had some clay that we imprinted onto things that will then dry in a few hours, and you can see your leaf shape or your twig or whatever it is you imprinted on there. You can feel it and you can see it forever. It was great fun. We had some snacks and we heard a really great story, and we even did the Lord's Prayer in Makaton, which is a special kind of sign language. But if if some of you weren't there, then that's absolutely okay, because you're here now and we're going to have loads and loads of fun. So let's jump straight in with our game from Sally. Over to you.
Hello Sunday Club, welcome to the game this afternoon. So glad you come and join us at school. I know it's been quite wet and cold this week, but I really hope you've been able to get outside as well as doing all your activities indoors and all the learning that you've been doing this week. And it's going to be talking to you a bit about somebody in the Bible called Solomon. And Solomon was a good person to follow, and he listened to God's instructions when God came to him in a dream. So we're going to play a very simple version of Simon Says. So this one is Solomon Says. So very simply, I think you probably all know the game of Simon Says, but just to remind you, I will say Simon Says or Solomon Says, put your hands on your head, and you do that. And then I might say, Solomon Says, put your hands on your hips, like that, which you do. And then I might say, put your hands on your knees. But I didn't say, Solomon Says, put your hands on your knees. So that means that you're, well, not that you can be out, or you haven't won that time. Okay? So you're going to follow these very sensible, simple instructions, but there might be a few silly ones as well. So when you're ready, okay, Solomon Says, put your hands on your head. Solomon Says, bend your knees. Solomon Says, lie on the floor. Get up. Solomon Says, get up. Did I catch you out there? I hope not. Solomon Says, go crazy. You go crazy? Solomon Says, stop. Stop going crazy. Solomon Says, put your hands on your hips. Solomon Says, jump up and down. Solomon Says, do some star jumps. Go crazy. I'm going to catch you out there. I hope you didn't go crazy, because Solomon didn't say it. Okay, Solomon Says, put your hands on your head. Solomon Says, jump up and down. Solomon Says, do some star jumps. Touch your knees. Gonna catch you out. I hope not. Okay, Solomon Says, put your hands on your knees. Solomon Says, bend down. Solomon Says, stand up. Solomon Says, touch your shoulders. Touch your elbows. Did I catch you out? I didn't. Solomon Says, go crazy. Hope you go crazy. Solomon Says, stop. Solomon Says, put your hands on your hips. Solomon Says, jump up and down. Solomon Says, spin. And spin the other way. Did I catch you out? I hope not. Solomon Says, go crazy. Solomon says, stop. Solomon says, lie down. Wiggle your legs in the air. Oh, I'm going to catch you. Solomon says, wiggle your legs in the air. Solomon says, stand up. Solomon says, go crazy. Solomon says, jump up and down. Solomon says, have a rest. Great you joined us. Hope you enjoyed that. And hope you see you again soon. Bye-bye, Sunday Club. Bye.
Fantastic, thanks Sally. I hope you guys enjoyed going crazy and waving your arms everywhere. I certainly did. Now most of you will know my name. My name is Emily, and in a moment we're going to hear from Andy, who's our other children's worker in Tunbridge. But one name you might not know is Solomon, and that's the name that Sally was mentioning a lot in Solomon Says, of course. So let's head over to Andy to hear who this Solomon guy is.
Hey Sunday Club, we are back here with our big Bible storybook, and it's time for today's story. And today's story is all about David's son Solomon, and Solomon had just become king, and this is how it goes. Solomon had not been king for long. It was a difficult job. People kept coming to him with questions. What should we do? They would ask. How shall we do this? What would you like us to do, Your Majesty? Solomon wanted to be a good king, but he did not know how. So Solomon... What do you think Solomon did? Do you think Solomon read a book? Do you think Solomon prayed? Or do you think Solomon ran away and did nothing? So Solomon prayed. Well, I don't know if you chose that one. One night, Solomon dreamed that God was talking to him. What would you like me to give to you? God asked. Solomon thought. Other kings were very rich and wanted to live for a long, long time. So what do you think Solomon asked for? Do you think Solomon asked for lots of money? Do you think Solomon asked to be able to live a really long time? Or do you think Solomon maybe asked for something else? But Solomon wanted something more. I want to be a good king, he told God. Please help me to know how to do the right things. God was pleased that Solomon had asked for this. He said, I will help you do the right things. I will also... What do you think God also did? Do you think God also made him really good looking? Do you think God maybe made him really rich? Or do you think God gave him a long life? What do you reckon? I will also make you rich and live a long, long time. You will be a good king like your father, David. Well done if you got the right answers. Never mind if you didn't. And if you want to read the full story about this, It's in a book called 1 Kings in the Bible. It's chapter 3 and it's verses 1 through to 15. See you later.
Fantastic. Did you enjoy that story? I wonder which answers you picked and whether you would have done the same thing that Solomon did. If you were a king or a queen or someone very powerful, what would you ask God for? Would you ask for lots of money? To be really, really good looking, whatever that looks like, to be alive for a long, long time. What would you ask for? Maybe if you've got someone with you, tell the person next to you which one of those you would go for. And then when you guys have finished doing that, we are going to head over to our craft for today with Alyson. So, over to you.
Hi Sunday Club, nice to be with you again. We're going to do a bit of craft now to remind us about what Solomon asked God for. So we're going to do some hands that are in prayer that remind us that Solomon asks God for wisdom. So we're going to need a piece of paper or card. I've got a piece of sort of pale pink paper stuck to some card because I needed to make it a bit thicker. A bit of glue, a pencil, some scissors, and maybe some felt tips. I've got a few colours here. So to start with our piece of card or paper, fine if you've only got paper, we're going to fold it in half like that. And then we're going to place it down and draw around our hand. But the key thing is to get our little finger on the very edge of the fold of the paper. So my left hand is going to go down on the paper and it's going to line up with my little finger, and my thumb is going to stick out a little bit. If I was left-handed, if I preferred to write with my left hand when I was writing, I would turn the paper round so that the fold is on this side, and I would put my right hand down with my little finger lined up against the fold like that. But I'm right-handed, I write with my right hand, so I'm getting my pencil, I've got my thumb sticking out, and I'm going to draw around my fingers, but really ignore the very edge where my little finger is against the fold. I'm not going to have much gap between my fingers. We don't need much of a gap. We just need to know that that's what they are, fingers. So I've drawn around it. I'm going to go over it in black so that you can see it more clearly. So I have got my fingers and my thumb sticking out. But as you can see, my little finger was against the fold there. Then I'm going to cut it carefully, just around the very edge, but I'm not going to cut where the fold is. I'm going to leave that stuck together. So I just cut round my black line. And these hands should be then in the shape of praying hands. Because when we talk to God, we're praying. So I have got my hands done like that. And when they open out, they're two hands together. We could draw the fingers on the other side as well so that we can see the divisions. So I've got a hand there and a hand there. So I'm going to write what Solomon asks for. So you know he could have asked for anything. As a king, he could have chosen riches and wealth and gold and jewellery. He could have chosen to live for a very long time. But he knew what he needed was to serve God by looking after the people that God had given him to rule over. So Solomon asks God for wisdom. So we're going to write that on our hands to remind us what Solomon asked for. And if you're not sure how to spell Solomon, it's S-O-L-O-M-O-N. So Solomon asks God for wisdom. Now, inside our praying hands, when we open it out, we're going to draw something that reminds us that wisdom is better than gold and riches. And in the Bible there is a verse that says, wisdom is better than gold. So wisdom is knowing what to do in certain situations, how to make the best decisions, what is right and what is wrong, and then making the best decision accordingly. And we could all do with that sort of thing, couldn't we? So inside our hands, we're going to draw a pot, like a pot of gold. So my first line is like a big U shape like that. And then I'm just going to draw a sort of a rim of my pot to remind me of gold. And my little pot has got feet on it to make it stand up. So I have got a pot like that. And inside my pot, I'm going to write, wisdom is better than gold. Which is a verse from Proverbs. And in my pot, I am going to show a little bit of gold. So I'm going to find a yellow felt tip and draw a few gold coins. This is where if you've got white paper, it will show up better. So I've got a few gold coins going in there. And I'm reminded in my verse that wisdom is better than gold. I'm going to put a few more rubies in as well, because rubies are precious gemstones. They're red ones. So I've got a few rubies in the pot. And I know that wisdom is better than rubies. And I've got a green pen, so I'm going to draw some emeralds, which are green precious stones. And I've got a few emeralds in there. They're a bit dark, they look quite black. But I've also got a blue one. See if I can just draw some blue precious stones, which are sapphires. So I've got my little pot of precious stones. And if you want, maybe you've got some glittery things and shiny paper that you could put in your little pot here to show that actually what it says on the pot is true. Wisdom is better than gold and all those precious gems. And on the back of our praying hands, we're just going to write one more thing. In the Bible, it also tells us that God gives wisdom to whoever asks. So we're just going to write that. God gives wisdom. To all who ask. So let's write that on the back of our praying hands. God gives wisdom to all who ask. And there we have it. Our praying hands that remind us that Solomon could have asked for anything, but he asked for wisdom. And maybe that's something you and I can ask God for. Whatever situations we're facing, maybe we can pray that God would help us also be wise. Nice to see you. Bye, Sunday Club.
Fantastic. So we had something really amazing just then. Wisdom is better than gold. So Solomon was this king, and he could have asked God for anything that he needed, and he knew the best possible thing to ask for was to help look after God's people, for what he needed to help look after God's people, and that was wisdom. So he didn't need the gold, and he didn't need good looks, and he didn't need to live a long time, because God can help us in so many different ways to do what he has called us to do, which means what he has asked us to do. The thing he has given us that he would like us to do with our lives. So perhaps you want to reconsider your answer to the question I asked earlier about what you would ask for, whether it would be money and riches, or good looks, or a long life, or any of the other things, power and strength, and maybe a huge army. Maybe actually you want to ask for wisdom. Because the best thing about this, as Alyson said, is that in the Bible it tells us anyone who asks for wisdom will get it when they ask God for wisdom. Isn't that amazing? So if you're thinking about something, or you're unsure about something, or there's something a bit difficult going on, you can ask God for wisdom and He will give it to you. It may not always be in the way that you think it will be, but the Bible says God will give us wisdom, and so He will. Isn't that amazing? So, I'm going to pray to wrap up today. I hope you guys had loads of fun once again, and stay tuned for more things that are coming out that you guys can get involved with, like our harvest time this morning. So if you'd like to, you can put your hands together as I pray, and if you agree with what I say, then at the end you can join me in saying Amen. So let's pray. Lord, we thank you so much for all the things you give us, for the things you give us to do, the jobs we have, and the work you want us to do. For Solomon as a king, but also us during harvest time, that you give us food to eat and a beautiful creation to live in. I pray that you help us look after it, but also give to people that don't have everything they need as well. Amen. Hope you had fun, guys, and I'll see you soon.